Welcome back to the Imaginary Gallery. It is TJ, your host. Tonight is another night of the Narcissist Bag of Tricks. The topic of discussion is when the narcissistic personality disordered creature or other cluster B monster will fake a mental illness. You may be asking yourself, now, why would anybody fake a mental illness? Well, there's a very good reason. This ties in with the fact that the typical cluster B toxic creature likes to play two different roles, the hero and the victim. Examples of the hero would be if you're driving down the road with your creature, you pass by some learning institution, you may hear something like, "Oh, I used to go to that school. I had straight A's there." Or a story such as, "Oh, there was this homeless lady on the street. I felt so sorry for her on this cold winter day, so I gave her a $50 bill and a blanket." Something like that. Fake stories that are designed to make the creature appear to be wonderful. The faking of the mental illness typically is used in playing the victim role. They will typically tell you things in the beginning stages. "I'm obsessive compulsive," or "I'm bipolar." Notice they won't pick one of the severe illnesses. They won't pick one like, "I'm a psychotic killer." They'll pick one of the lighter ones. Typically, they'll claim many different mental illnesses, such as, "Oh, I have such severe depression." Yet, in your day-to-day conversations, you never hear anything that sounds like depression, except superficial things, like, "Oh, I never get a break," or something like that. You don't really detect any real depression, but they'll claim it. Again, you ask, well, why would anyone do that? Example would be, you are an honest person, you value honesty, this other creature is trying to push you to date, and you may say something like, "Oh, I don't like to date. Yeah, I get so tired of so many people. They're all so dishonest. They all lie. You know what? I'm not interested in that kind of thing." That's when you'll hear, "Oh, I'm very honest. I tell the truth all the time. I know what you're going through. I dated someone who was a liar too." Fake mirroring. You've dated for a little while. You've witnessed many instances of honesty. It all feels great. However, something occurs that isn't great, and maybe you investigate it and determine it was a flat-out lie. That does not go along with the "I'm honest." Well, that's where this fits in. They've pre-screened you with their tales of their mental illness, and that is where they cash in on this chip. So when you show anger and say, "I told you I hated people that lied, and you lied about this," and this person doesn't want to let you go because they have uses for you, you're likely to hear, "I told you that I was bipolar. That's just one of the things that happens. I sometimes lie." They're a victim. So if you dare dump this person, you are discriminating against a mentally ill person. And that is designed to trigger your empathy to think to yourself, "Oh, wow, I didn't think of that. Oh, okay, well, maybe that red flag doesn't count. All right, I'll see you again." And that's one of the tricks they will play, and that's the purpose of this video, to look out for that. These cluster B creatures will also claim to have another kind of illness, such as cancer. So somebody you're dating and maybe you uncover a little bit too much and you're pulling away, they will pull out the cancer card and claim, "I just went to the doctor. I just found out that I have cancer." And they want you then to rely upon your own empathy and think to yourself, "I should listen to those ridiculous arguments this person gave about why it was okay that he or she lied, but he's dying of cancer. She's dying of cancer. Oh, I need to be there for her." And it turns out the cancer is a lie as well. And of course they do this knowing that a decent person wouldn't dare ever think to question someone's diagnosis, say, "Are you sure you have cancer? You're not just lying," because you would look like a horrible person. Well, they love to take advantage of such boundary lines. They love to take advantage of decency in people like that, so you would not even want to ask, even though you may be thinking it. Now beware, these cluster B toxic creatures can be very crafty, and you have to keep in mind, if you're dealing with one or think you're dealing with one, that they do have one cardinal rule that they follow, which is never reveal that it's a game. Meaning, if you're dating the person for quite a while and you keep uncovering discrepancies and you keep coming up with things that indicate something's fishy. If you dare say, "Are you playing some kind of game with me? Were you set up to do this? Is this real?" They will never take off that mask. At least at this point. You can't expect them to admit. It's not like a regular person who might lie to you to your face right now, and then you detect they're lying and say, "Are you sure you're not lying? Are you sure?" And then they break down and say, "Okay, yes, I am." These creatures do not do that. They will maintain this fictitious persona forever if necessary, because their rule is the ends are always justified by the means. No matter what it is, even murder. If you are seeing a person like that, and let's say they've done their job properly like the usual cluster B creature does, and they've hooked themselves into your life, and you really like the dinners that the person cooks, you really like the way it makes lust to you in bed, you really like the way it compliments you here and there, and so you're hooked, but you uncover a sickening discrepancy that indicates something horrifying, you may feel invested enough in this person to think whatever it is you can overcome it, and then continue, and then bring up that subject here and there, hoping to resolve it, of course, to no avail. But if you find yourself in such a situation, what can typically happen is you will notice this discrepancy, that discrepancy, and they'll all be themed kind of the same way. You'll be calculating in your mind the different things you're seeing and how they all seem to have common threads, such as the last 3 women I suspected him of sneaking around with were all Triple D strippers at the Shady Lady, and he strangely is friends with all of them. I think something's fishy. He must like Triple D. If you catch on to that, these people are trained actors in this respect, so you might say, "I know this. I saw the first one and the second one. Candy Cantaloupe times 6. You like girls with big you-know-what." This is a clue for you to detect a monster. They will never say, "Oh yeah, I do like Candy Cantaloupe number 1. She was." No, it'll be, "Oh, that's just a coincidence. That has nothing to do with it." You can tell that you're dealing with a toxic creature typically because even though your observations are 100% valid, they are right. Is it strange that those 3 different women he just happens to be dealing with secretly all are Candy Cantaloupe-sized jugs? Anybody else seeing this would come to the same conclusion, but you'll be seeing gaslighting, which is you are paranoid, you're seeing things, you're imagining things, you're making things up. That is a sign you're dealing with a creature that's toxic. Because a regular, rational person would realize that, oh my goodness, they do all have Triple D cups. Oh, maybe I do like things. Thanks for telling me. Or something. No, you won't hear any of that. So that's the typical clue. They don't accept one piece of your theory that you've noticed based on observation, logic, and brain power. If you find yourself involved with such a person, it's best to make a swift exit out now, because if you don't, they'll pull you in further and further, and you will not know who you are at the end.
I am the Narcopath. Welcome back to my lair.
Evidently, I'm not most popular clone in the cloning center. My little idea of stealing Michael Jackson's noses didn't prove to be too practical, because I can only visit the cloning center at this point when I'm at home in bed during REM sleep. Kinda makes it hard to bring anything with me like the grains of golden sand in that famous poem, Edgar Allan Poe.
By the way, I met him. He's still alive. He is a clone. I've got to come up with a plan B.
The things I could tell you about the celebrities I've seen now, ooh, I gotta keep that to myself. Good evening, travelers. My name is Tamika Tunafish, and I'll be your flight attendant for the evening. Please remove any clothing that you feel might be in the way, and I'll do the same. Please disregard that distraction. That was my twin sister. She's retarded. She wants to be flight attendant, but she'll never make it.
And I can see it in your eyes.
I know. You probably wonder, why do I always look so different? Well, that's part of my charm. Remember when I was with you, with my corduroy pants and my flannel shirt like a lesbian? Which is what I became later. I changed. for each person I chased. You were a down-home country boy, so I wore those clothes. Well, honey, now I'm with the elite. That flannel stuff just won't do it for me. I go for more fancy things. Nothing personal. I'm just in a different world now. I found this little creature running around the cloning center. I couldn't get in, but this little creature got out, and I grabbed him. He's sweet, isn't he? Aren't you, sweet little creature, whatever you are? I don't know if it's a cat, a dog, a rat, or some other kind of rodent. You're my baby now.
Attention passengers, you are on Transgender Airlines. Only those of you who would like to change your gender identity are welcome.
So if you don't want your boobs cut off, or a cock placed in your Virginia, please step forward now. This is Transgendered Airlines.